Bore pawb, croeso and welcome back to school in 2021, albeit a virtual school for these first 2 weeks of term. I'm sure you'll have seen Boris Johnson on the news yesterday, giving instructions for England's lockdown. As you'll know, in Wales, we have been locked down since before Christmas, and a decision was made late yesterday that schools would not open to the majority of pupils for the first 2 weeks of term. This again is a precautionary measure to try and drive down that reproduction rate of the virus and to make sure that we can support our NHS and healthcare services. We were really looking forward to seeing you back in school after the Christmas break and realise that for some of you, we won't have seen you for 5 weeks by the time you plan to return on the 18th of January. School is open virtually for all students. Teachers will be here to support you, both in your learning and in your well-being, and we'll talk through how you can access that support through the course of this assembly. The most important thing now is that you make sure that you stay safe and follow the rules, and that you re-engage in online learning. It's essentially important because we have lost lots of time of learning through no fault of your own this year. But as we start 2021 in this new school term, it is so important that everyone engages in the offer of online learning that we have. And if there are any barriers or challenges to you engaging in that learning, that you get in touch with us at the school. This assembly will talk through lots of things that you've heard before that are going to remind you about what you need to do to be successful in online learning. And it also will talk through all the safety measures that we have in place to make sure we can welcome you back safely on the 18th of January. The time has come again for students now to be learning online. You should now be confident with moving into your blended learning timetable and making sure you're ready for this week and the next. Being responsible while blended learning means that all students should be undertaking blended learning and staying at home. The whole of Wales is still in a Tier 4 lockdown. The purpose of learning from home is so we can drive down the R rate of coronavirus and ensure our health service and hospitals aren't overwhelmed. So it is really important that we don't mix with people from other households again. It's also a really important time to ensure that you're responsible with the data and the information that you are given. Any lockdown or moving to learning online is a preventative measure to stop the coronavirus getting out of control. Lots of different people may have been saying lots of different things over this last week, which may have worried people and concerned them. The truth is that although the number of cases at the moment is worrying, cases are reducing in our county of Monmouthshire and in Wales at present. Children are no more susceptible to this illness. The president of the Royal College of Paediatrics, that's Young Person's Health, said, "Children's wards are usually busy in winter. As of now, we're not seeing any significant pressure from COVID-19 in paediatrics across the UK. As cases in the community rise, there will be a small increase in the number of children we see with COVID-19. But the overwhelming majority of children and young people have no symptoms or very mild illness only. This new variant that people have talked about does appear to affect people of all ages, but as of yet, we are not seeing any greater severity among children and young people." Now, of course, keeping children learning at home is not just to keep young people safe, but to keep parents and grandparents and the rest of the community safe as well. But please don't let anyone tell you that this illness now is affecting young people more so and you need to be any more worried. Of course, be vigilant. Of course, make sure that you're safe and you follow the rules. But the statement there from the president of the Royal College of Paediatrics and Child's Health gives you very, very clear facts about how this new variant is affecting young people. So it is really important that you are prepared for the weeks of blended learning ahead. Making sure you've got that physical space at home for taking your virtual lessons is really important. And try and stretch your day around your usual timetable in school, waking up ready for registration and making sure that you follow your lessons throughout the day. Know your password and logons. If you've forgotten them over the Christmas break, please get in touch. And teachers will share work, as I've said, through that usual timetable. We are going to have a plan for you to be able to check in with your form tutors either through Microsoft Teams or Google Classroom in registration sessions at 8:45 each morning. These may not be on every single day, but what we'll do is send a separate communication that outlines exactly how you will engage in these registration sessions. This is really important for us because it allows us to take registers and find out if there's anyone who's struggling to access any blended learning. Before, blended learning will consist of a variety of tasks and all work will come through your Google Classroom, or teachers may put a link onto a live stream using Microsoft Teams. You can still upload work electronically, work in your book, or work on paper. And you know by now it's your responsibility to engage in these virtual online lessons. Help is on the website should you have forgotten how to access any aspect of online learning. Please get in touch if you've forgotten anything over the Christmas break, but it's your responsibility to work independently on these tasks in the coming week. We know that the new variant and all of the things that have been said in the news over the past few weeks will have made people worried about returning to school. But when we do return to school, you must remember that there are stringent safety measures in place to keep you safe. You as a school community have been brilliant at following our safe routines in line with all the guidance that has been given by Welsh Government. It's really important when we return that you know that you are required to wear face coverings in all communal areas, so that is the corridors and the canteen. It's not a requirement at present to wear them in classrooms, but if you wish to do so, then that's absolutely fine. You should wear face coverings in outdoor areas of the school site at breaks, but this is your choice. And you are required to wear face coverings on all dedicated school and public transport. We've got really robust systems in place to make sure our routines are safe. All the classrooms have been remarked out to make sure there's a distance between the students and the teacher, and desks and chairs must not be moved. All classes are going to be well ventilated to make sure that we can get rid of any COVID particles in the air. Students remain in their teaching rooms and staff come to you, especially in Key Stage 3. In Key Stage 4, there is more moving around the school. But whenever we move around the school, we keep to that one-way system. It's really, really important that we all follow this one-way system. And when we come back to school, we remind ourselves of being really vigilant about those rules and routines. That's going to be very, very important. Keeping to that one-way system, which is clearly marked throughout the school, especially when coming back into Zone 3 after break or going from the computer rooms from the 200 corridor, as it says on the slide here, is going to be absolutely vital when we return to school. Ensuring that we all work together to follow those safe routines keeps everyone safe, not only students in the school, but our staff and our families outside of school. It's vitally important that when we return, we make sure that we keep to those routines as stringently as possible every single day to keep everyone safe. It's an expectation of us all. And more important than ever, maintaining that good hand hygiene, ensuring that you use the hand sanitizer that is provided in every classroom and in our communal spaces, and ensuring you wash your hands thoroughly is absolutely essential. There are a couple of changes that students need to be aware of, even with online learning. Break times have swapped for this term, and it is important, even in online learning, that you make sure you give yourself those break times in your lessons. That's absolutely essential. So year 10 and 11 breaks have swapped. Make sure you're aware of that because that changes your routine of the day slightly. And when you do return to school, roomings have changed for some Year 8 and all Year 9 students. Year 8 and Year 9 students will need to check their Sims app this week to see where Spanish and German lessons have moved to. And it's especially important that 8O and 8P check their Sims app for timetable changes that are in place as of today, which will affect the blended learning times that you have. And as we've reiterated many times, we are still here to help and support in school. If anyone needs any advice or support or just needs to talk about anything at all, the wellbeing team can be contacted virtually and confidentially. Our mobile number is 07961 870 124. The QR code on the screen will take you to an online form. There's also an email address that you can use. Please get in touch should you need any support for your well-being in this next week. When you return to school, there'll also be an analogue way in which you can access support. We've put in each zone a small post box in which students can submit a paper form to request wellbeing support. Again, discreetly, a member of the wellbeing staff will be in touch to offer support if you do put a slip into the wellbeing post box. And finally, the last two slides of this assembly show where you can access some wellbeing support through a variety of different apps that can be accessed through your phones or through the phone line or through websites. Have a look at those last two slides. It'll guide you to where you can access some additional support should you like to seek it outside of school, that you can take at your own pace and find possibly the right app or support that you feel helps you in the way that you need that help. Please at this time don't suffer in silence. Get in contact with us as a school or have a look at some of those wellbeing apps, phone lines or websites that you can access to gain support should you need it. So that's the important information that you need to know about blended learning moving forward for these first 2 weeks of term. It is really important that you engage in the blended learning offer that we have at school. It's essential that if there are any problems with you accessing that blended learning, that you get into contact with us as soon as possible. School may be physically closed, but we are virtually open to all students, parents and carers. You can get in touch with us about blended learning issues, and you can get in touch with us if you're concerned or worried about how you're managing or coping at the moment. It will be dealt with discreetly and privately, but we are here to help and support you. It's really important that you make sure you look at evidence-based news sources over the next few days and weeks. There'll be lots of things that may not be accurate and that may frighten and worry you. But because we locked down earlier in Wales, we are seeing the R rate going down and we're seeing cases going down. We're not where we want to be at the moment yet as a country, and we still need to protect the NHS. But this new variant isn't showing any evidence of affecting young people and children any more so than the old variant. This lockdown is just to make sure that we are very cautious and that we can protect our services. It's therefore really important that you follow the rules as well, as that's absolutely key in us all working together to overcome the coronavirus at present. Please engage as well as you can in your blended learning offer. Registrations and lessons will be held through Google Classroom and live through Microsoft Teams, and check with individual form tutors and teachers regarding their plans for your learning over the coming weeks. Any issues, please get in contact with us. We're really disappointed we can't see you physically in school at present. We do look forward to welcoming you back very soon. Stay safe. We'll speak to an assembly again next week, and good luck with all the blended learning.